everybody. We're going to make my version of golden milk. So if you've visited the blog, then you've seen that there's a couple of different ways, more than a couple of different ways to make golden milk. And the traditional Yogi Bhajan recipe, the classic recipe, is excellent. And then I put my spin on it because that's just what I do. I like variety, and that shows a little bit of my Vata creativity. And also maybe how to make it fun and tasty for the different my body types, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So I mentioned the different milks that are appropriate on the blog. I mentioned the different sweeteners that are appropriate, and even some really nice exotic teas. We won't be doing all of that today, but we will be playing around with some of it. So the way that I start is, again, I'm not the best with measuring. I just kind of like to eyeball things. So anywhere from a teaspoon to a tablespoon. You can follow the recipe online just to see, the amounts that you're making for yourself. And we never want to burn ghee or let it smoke, as that would make it a toxic substance. So I have this on low, and I'm adding anywhere from half teaspoon to a teaspoon of turmeric or turmeric, depending on what part of the country you're living in. And what I want to have happen is for the powdered herb to start bubbling into the ghee. Ghee is clarified butter, so it has most of the fat solids removed, and ghee is used as a base in all kinds of medicines as well as in food recipes. It has the ability to soothe and restore tissue. Very good for the nervous system and the glandular system. All three doshas will benefit from using ghee. However, because ghee is clarified butter and is a little dense, it's an oil and it's heavy, we use it in moderation for kapha, and we make sure we always spice it right. We spice any dairy products or heavy foods correctly to make it dosha appropriate. So remember that no matter what food or beverage you're using, one size doesn't fit all. We're always customizing and personalizing our diet, nutrition, and lifestyle to suit what season it is, where we are in our life, what stresses we're having to deal with, how old we are, what gender we are. Everything is reflected that way. So it's starting to bubble. And so now I've created kind of a little bit of medicine right there by actually letting the turmeric bubble in. Another thing I like to do, this is a little bit different, but it's fresh ginger, which is, again, tridoshic. So all the doshas will benefit from a little ginger. Ginger is what we call in Aurveda a dapana. And a dapana helps make everything digestible. It helps break down fats. You can read again, all the benefits are on the blog. It is also an anti-inflammatory. Used a lot in helping with blood purification, skin ailments, even cancer and tumor growth. So that doesn't mean go out and start consuming lots of ginger and turmeric. It's more about balance, and this is why it's nice to keep reading and studying, and even when you can, come visit me for a workshop or retreat to really understand how to do this safely and not overdo herbs, because herbs are medicine. And also, depending if you're on any sorts of medicines, you want to be able to do this safely and healthfully. But typically, we're using ratios here that are pretty safe for daily use. And so now I've bubbled some of the ghee, so now I have what's called a little bit of a ginger turmeric rasayana. Rasayana, if you remember, is that which makes young again. It's a little bit of a medicine. And now I'm going to go into finishing the tea with some almond milk. And so I mentioned the different milks for the different mind-body types. This is one of my favorite milks. And I'm just pouring that in. And heating that. So I'm taking it on and off the heat because I want to be sure not to burn anything. And so now it's going to start to turn that pretty golden color, which is where we get that name, golden milk. So that could be enough right there. But I mentioned on the blog different teas I like to mix this with to make it a little lighter, to make it more tea-like and less heavy. But if you like it heavy, if you like something to be more substantial in your tummy, then this is good enough just as it is, and you'd heat this. And remember, we don't cook the honey, so if you're sweetening it with honey, you wait till it's warm and not boiling. Raw sugar, a little bit of raw sugar is fine. We don't really use that for kapha. Kaphas usually use raw honey, and typically a little bit of an aged honey because it's a little warmer, and kaphas like to be warm. And if we're using milk, if we're using cow's milk to make the protein more digestible, we want to take that to a little bit of a boil first, and then cool it down, and then add our sweeteners. Oh, all of this was explained on the blog. So I'm going to pour that off and then wait for it to cool. Because this milk is already sweetened. You can buy it sweetened or unsweetened. I really don't need any sweetener. To your health. Subscribe to the blog.